Ooh la la. Well, wait, I gotta do a thing there. Because air conditioners are noisy and doesn't matter what the humidity is, you gotta shut them off for a review. So, the distributor who sends me mica stuff is like, look, mica isn't ever seeming to be making a bigger speaker. Shh, quiet, baby. Hi-Fi fan video, look it up. Look up the Hi-Fi fan video. So, I can get these other speakers that are 5 1/4, which is bigger than anything Mica makes. Mica makes the RB42s, the MB42s, the MB42Xs, the Mica Ooh, which is a bunch 3-inch drivers, 2-inch drivers. They just keep going smaller. And I just want them to go bigger. There's several speaker companies I would love to just go bigger. I would just absolutely adore if goddamn Vanuatu made, like, I don't know, a 6.5. Could you imagine a 6.5-inch Vanuatu with a DSP correction? Oh, you know what it would look like? Buchart A500s, S500s, S500s. So he's like, hey, I'm gonna send these to you, and I'm like, all right, cool. They're Neumis. They're what now? Neumi, Neumi. So carve it into your brains, ladies and gentlemen, because every time we do one of these, it's like, oh, I never heard of that before. No one has. When I first got them, there was no reviews on Amazon. Now there's only one review on Amazon, and it's 5 stars. And for decent reason, too, because these, which I should take my music out of just Run the Jewels, but to listen to RTJ4, and I wasn't going to debut it entirely on this. We're going to move it over, but good place to start. Let me see some symphony. I like it. Pause. I am running them, by the way. Before I get into the actual details of the speaker, let me give you some background. Currently, these speakers, which cost $90, which makes them the cheapest speakers I've reviewed in years. Is that a years thing? Because even like, I mean, there might have been a couple of those powered monitors that I did that were last, but these are like the first passive speakers that I give a shit about that aren't like $4,000. RB42s sort of stepped in. I'm not denying the greatness of the RB42s, but there's something to lack, and so it's just size. And I have these Emotiva HC1s here, and I'm getting ready for their review. And this is not the final test, but if you can monoblock from the topping E30, which is why I have the little remote to control the volume, if you can do this, why not? So, hold on. Ooh la la. That Stone Temple Pilots. It actually has a decent little baby bit of like low end. It's not a lot. Pick a speaker up. It's a black box. That's number one. In case you were wondering, this is a black vinyl box. The back, 2 actual really nice speaker terminals. I'm using banana plugs in them. What serial number is this? 71. Claims 15 to 100 watt power handling, impedance 6 ohms. Don't concern yourself too much. A lot of people will message me and be like, hey, this says 6 ohms and I know my amplifier is rated for 8 ohms, and can I do I need to worry? No. Ohms are nominal. They actually change based on the volume and like different properties of the speaker. So there's just, they know what the average ohms load is. So they'll never actually tell you specifically. I'll take the cover off of one. And I'm going to do it with the method I perfected, which is what you push down and pull it off. Because the magnets, so they've apparently, like, this is a cheap set of speakers. Like $90 is not expensive. But the magnets they've used are high quality. Like absurdly high quality. Like, okay, I got it. So just be prepared when the first time you take this off, don't just gently apply pressure forward, or you'll just pull the whole speaker off and it'll land on the floor. Instead, slide it off like you would just like up works. It actually just Jesus God, it's just so fucking strong. You hear that? That's the sound of someone bought the wrong magnets. Just the wrong ones. Okay, good. So, there also, if you didn't notice in the back of the speaker, there's no rear port. Because this is front ported. And if you look at the driver, did that Chewbacca yell at me? If you look at the driver, it's a beautiful weave. Ooh, we've got a decent stiff surround. Stiff surrounds are good for giggity. For reasons, usually because that means they could take a lot more of abuse. A lot of the boot carts and things are very soft surrounds, so if you try to push them, bad things happen. So we have a front ported, which means desktop. And I consider, like, when I just move these stands close together and slide the couch way up to like this distance, desktop, soft dome, a very large, very exposed, slightly wave-guided soft dome. And look how I want you to notice something. The actual lip of this port touches the speaker. The biggest gap is this, which is about 3/16 of an inch, or about 5-6 millimeters. They've squeezed a lot of stuff in a speaker that's not much bigger than like an MB42. It's definitely deeper, taller, and wider, but only by like 3. Like there's the MB42s back there, which are a 4-inch, and you couldn't fit a 5 1/4 in that. But this is like the minimum amount of fascia that you'd need to create to do a decent tweeter and speaker and then somehow fucking magically make ports happen in the front. And the benefit of ports in the front is you don't have to worry about too much. You still have to worry, but not too much when you put them against a wall. When you put a ported speaker here, the actual port that's usually throwing air backwards will bounce off, and you'll get a doubling effect where the speaker's trying to make sound and the port's doing it, but the port's not just going back and free. When you do a speaker correctly, it's free because you put it in the middle of your room because you're an audiophile and you just pay for a giant room. When you have a rear port against a wall, though, it does this. Sound out, uh-oh, the sound bounced. So now it comes and it just fucks with everything, which can make things sound more bassy, but can also make things sound like garbage. So front port is actually beneficial. That does, however, usually mean it's cutting down on that extra low end that you would get from corner loading something. What that does mean, though, is you can put it closer to a wall, which means closer to a wall on a desk, which means you still get a nice punchy front end, which I've noticed. It's not going to be a bass king. And if you ask me, Zeos, which one has better low end, RB42s or this, I'd honestly say it's a fucking draw. It's a draw. Well, then, Zeos, why bother getting these? And just the RB42s. I don't know, these are $40 cheaper. And they can handle probably more abuse. I would have to get RB42s out here and these out here and A/B them at like absurd volumes. Because the RB42s are beast mode. And these are just bigger speakers with thick surrounds. So they can pretty much handle, like, I'm not being gentle with them. That's loud. Like, that's Evangelion, by the way. And that's like a very little... We're at 15 dB below maximum out of full tilt foobar. Those amps are throwing quite a lot of power at them, even though it says only 100 watts. I'm not really listening because who fucking cares? Let's blow them up. If they blow up, I'll tell you they blew up. It'll make great video. See right there. These speakers have good depth. Those ports do something that make a nice creamy mid-range low end happen. It's never gonna get down to like, oh, I don't need a sub, or oh, deadmau5 sounds perfect on it. But for just actual general speaker use, I really like these have eliminated the need for MB42s. RB42s basically did that, But the RB42s were still another 4-inch. And the RB42s require a shit ton of power. These require slightly less power than the RB42s because bigger driver usually means more efficiency. And the tweeter on these is softer. In fact, there's a little tiny hair on it. Ooh la la. I'm actually rather impressed by these speakers. Because there hasn't been one in a while. There hasn't been a speaker that's like, Zeos, what can I buy that's not an MB42 or an RB42 or an Edifier self-powered set? You know, I need something cheap. Fluence SX6. I'll link to Fluence SX6 in the description. Another 5 1/4, another front-firing soft dome. Although that speaker is legitimately 35% more volume and can definitely do more low end, but it's giant. These are correct. These are the correct size. I like the fact they have magnetic grills. It's another thing that you could tell the Fluence SX6s are an old speaker because they're not even considering magnetic grills, just those big ugly metal pegs and that stupid bottom thing. These do just the right thing for $90. I would not be upset if you had these on your desk. You're like, hey, Zeos, look, I got this on my desk. I'm using a Lepi 2020, which is a little underpowered, but fuck it. Because that would come out to like $120 for a Lepi amp and these. We're going back to the roots of Z reviews here. And guess what the last speaker I reviewed was? Can you guess? Can anyone fucking guess what the last speaker I reviewed in this living room was? That's right, the Triangle Thetas, $4,000. And I sat here and I was absolutely amazed by those. And they got me very excited. And then I sit here now, 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, because it takes, you know, I had speakers. In fact, the sound demo, I think, shares that playlist because I only had 2 speakers at the time. And I could just shuffle through things. All right, let me get real to the quick of it because I just take forever to do these things. What I notice about these speakers, and the reason I like these speakers, is every speaker, before I start a review, I have to figure out something that makes them like stand out from the crowd. And I'll tell you why I like these more than the RB42s for certain things. Didn't say all that. Didn't say they're better than RB42s. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Wallpaper, right? Shut up. These sound more consistent through a wide range of volumes. The RB42s, when you play them quiet, and you remember me saying this, just sort of are meh. And only when you are fucking hammering the RB42s do they wake up and become the greatest bookshelf speaker that has ever existed. Under $150. Maybe under $200. Maybe under $300. It's way up there. They are fucking great. Re-review of the RB42 is coming. But I'm not actually doing that. I'll get to it in the review series. But these speakers, if I lower this down, because I'm currently at -15, let's go to negative like 40. I'll put this song back on. Like it's quiet, like that's quiet as hell. But I could still, like, it doesn't sound like either driver is fading away. The front port, if you had a rear port, you lower it down, you're exciting less air in the back, if not no air. And when you turn it up, you excite more air and then it builds pressure behind it and then it comes forward and you get this big wash. But front port, it's just all here. It's all right in your face. I don't take them down fucking nearly enough, but the Mackie MR624s, the powered speakers up there on the far right. What those speakers do better than the LSR 305Ps or the Atom T5Es is they work at every volume. And you might say, well, Zeos, doesn't every speaker work at every volume? Yeah, you can hear a speaker, but can you actually hear a speaker when it's playing quietly? Usually that's, you know, it just becomes noise and you turn it up. These clips, these fucking giant heresies, when you're playing them quietly, you still get their like specialness because they're giant. But most speakers, when you just play them quietly, it just sounds like sound. It's like, yeah, like if you close your eyes and you walk through a room and you're like, how expensive were the speakers you just heard playing at this whisper volume? You'd never fucking be able to tell. It's when a speaker can do what these are doing that they become a very important speaker, because you can't always play a speaker at its optimal volume. I mean, I can, because I own headphones, apparently, and no one will stop me if you just play them as loud as you want. But it might be important to you to be able to use a speaker quietly and have it sound good. And then raise the volume up and still have it sound good. And then raise the volume up and still have it sound good. And then fucking blast it and still have it sound good. And that's another little point, is because that is a giant soft silk dome, it doesn't get harsh. If this tweeter here, not this, just this, was on this speaker, that would be nightmare fuel. Because if you put your ear against that while this is playing loudly, that will kill you. It's just the average of that and that and that all blending together that makes it fine. A soft dome is a wonderful thing, and not enough speakers use them. Not enough speakers use them properly. Because I never ever... One of the things that bothers me about a speaker when I'm reviewing it is if it bothers me while I'm reviewing it. And I think you've all known that there's like a speaker, like older clip stuff, like the cheap home theater stuff, you'd put on, it would be like, ooh. If you ever made this sound, ooh, that speaker has bothered you. And these have never made me go, ooh. I've kind of gone, huh, because like the low end kicks and it's like, it sounds like it wants more low end. It needs a sub. But I've never touched the nerve in the back of your eye when something gets really sharp and it's too loud. Like, I'm kind of confident I could explode these speakers before they hurt me. So now we've got a real winning situation here, because it's a speaker that can play quiet and sound good. It can play loud and sound good. It never hurts me. They're cheap. They're not exactly the most exciting looking things. But I mean, baby's first speaker? Yes. When do you get the RB42s over these? Well, that depends. Do you have the power? I mean, these would have the power. In fact, I might even go get them after this just because I want to laughingly hook them up to this. I'm trying to think. Like, I'm literally blanking. You need to get RB42s when? I think the RB42s at their maximum greatness are more impressive than these speakers. But everything below maximum greatness, it's a toss-up or these win. Now, I could have made that argument for the MB42s and the MB42Xs. But honestly, these are better than those as well. And it's been a while, a real long while, since I've experienced like actual joy from a cheap speaker. Like the last one was the Edifier 1700 BT, which is a self-powered unit, which sat there and you plugged it in and it was like, wow, this sounds quality. And these, like that, get to a song that actually has volume. Like right here, Cliff Martinez, Only God Forgives, Falling in Love, featuring Rana Fangam. Ratha Fangam? Like they're playing quietly right now. Like real quiet. Like but I have imaging. I've got decent imaging. There's a warmth there. The tweeter isn't missing. And pause there, volume there, pause there, volume there. Let's restart this video. Just kidding. This is ear views. We only restart this video when I sneeze my face off and there's snots and everything. That's only happened like once. Yeah, no, the tonality is consistent at every volume. And for that reason alone, they get a Zeos nod. Then you make them front ported, which means for that reason alone, they can work on a desk. And then they don't hurt. Because they can be consistently painful and go from low to high, but these actually don't bother me at all. You don't bother me. You don't fucking bother. Oh, you don't bother me. I was so worried because Jack is a distributor. He's a great guy. He's sent me every mic. When we did RMAP, I was like, can you send us like 12 pairs of RB42s? He was like, sure. And then he comes to me with this speaker, and I'm like, oh fuck, please don't suck. Because if it sucks, I gotta tell you it sucks. So I was just crossing my fingers hoping that a $90 pair of speakers isn't gonna just be a wooden box that has no benefits at all. And this is a great box. It's a great little wooden box. It's a super lightweight front ported box that the sound happened at all levels. Thank God, thank you. Thank you. Because I can't lie to you, because then it stays on my permanent record, aka on a YouTube video that never goes away. So it's much easier if I just tell the truth all the time. Mozart, like look, it's so quiet, but it's like a rich, creamy quiet. It's like light flavored butter. No wait, that's terrible. No one likes light flavored butter. It's like butter, but just less butter. So it's still butter, it's just less butter. Which is way better than putting the same amount of light flavored butter. Have we all agreed to this? Great. Because I need to make sure we're communicating on the same level. So I don't think there's anything else I can, I don't have them here. Fuck, it's in the other apartment. Another little point, I don't have the book, but if you're all gonna buy these now, so you're gonna get the books anyway. It comes with, number one, really nice like feet, rubber feet to apply, because they're like textured on the bottom, which you don't usually see that. The other thing, and I wish I had the book to show you, but I have never opened an instruction manual for speakers, like especially not $90 speakers, and been truly impressed. And the fact that I'm recalling from memory from like 4 weeks ago means something, because you get this instruction manual, it's a very heavy laminated paper, and you're like, well, what the fuck could they possibly tell me? And you open it up and it talks about room acoustics and alignment and powering and toe-in, and it's diagrams, and it's well written. It's in English. It's in English! And I'm like, holy shit, this is like the beginner's guide to speakers. Like legitimately how to wire them, the gauge of the wire, perfectly laid out and explanatory. Like, I think if I could get like 100 copies of that, next time I'm at an audio show, I just hand them out to people. Because everyone doesn't seem to fucking understand how easy and hard this shit is at the same time. It's a wonderful piece of literature. It's kind of like, it reminds me a little bit of the RME book where they had a little fun. Only this is just the thing about speakers, how to set them up, literally diagrams of ear level, above ear level, the angle, like what isolation of the, like it got into so many, it was like only like 3 pages long, but it was everything you need to know about setting up a speaker. Just everything, just fucking everything. So to whoever at Neumi, the name is just Neumi. I'm not against the font. Lowercase everything. Neumi. Neumi. Have you met the new me? Have you met the new me? It's Neumi. And these are, by the way, the BS5 or bookshelf 5. So the next time, maybe there'll be a BS6 or a BS8 or a BS10. I would love to see a cheap 10-inch bookshelf, because that's a 12. That might be too much to ask. But give me like a 10 and make it like a 3-way and have it have similar properties to this, and it's fucking golden. Anyway, I'm done. Now I'm officially done. I'm glad I remembered that, because I'd be pissed off, because that manual was something I was like, holy God. I don't even know if I did it in the unboxing. I do have an unboxing channel that's separate from this one, where it used to be my gaming videos, and it used to be my review videos, and it used to be my cooking videos, and now it basically is just unboxing videos and Mad Science Hour. So Zeos, in the future, link to the unboxing either of these speakers or just the channel in general. I won't make any promises, because Pasta's in charge of that channel and what comes out when. So these should be out, because we're running low. And I might go through that manual there. But this is it. This is great. This is fantastic. There's a sound demo in the description. If you want to know here's the thing, no one owns these yet. No one's reviewed these, absolutely fucking no one. Jack was like, hey, I'm gonna send you these, and I'm like, okay. Shot in the fucking dark. And I'm glad I can give them a warm welcome into the audiophile world, because they're absolutely worth it. You get these, and you get one of those new SMSL amps that costs more than them, with like the DA8S if you have balanced, or you don't need a remote or DAC, and then the SA300 has a DAC built in. And a remote, I think. Like, yeah, an SA300 and these on a desk you're done. You plug in USB, you wire them with all linked to mica cables. I think those are back in stock now. Which actually, mica cables are like a third the cost of these speakers. It's weird when you do cheap speakers because it's hard to make the balance happen. Like if I recommend $600 speakers, a $200 amp doesn't seem like much, and of course you're gonna get like $30 wires. But if I recommend $90 speakers, a $200 amp, and $30 speaker wire is sort of like, maybe you should recommend different things. Anyway, sound demo in the description. This channel, it loves you on Subscribestar or Patreon. Those give you access to the yard sale, which these will probably be in. Because, again, unless I'm building a boombox out of them. No, they're a little bit too large physically for a boombox. If I was going to do a boombox, I'd probably do RB42s or something else weird. So I'll probably just yard sale these, which they're only 90 bucks. So I'll sign them. I'll put an anime sticker with boobs on it, if you'd like, and then put them in the yard sale. So if you want to support this channel, see these reviews early, ask me questions on platform, and enter the yard sale where these will be for sale. $5 a month gets you into that on Subscribestar or Patreon. The $10 tier gets you into the private behind-the-scenes Telegram chat where they know about everything I've gotten in the mail, everything I've ordered, everything I've reviewed today. Like I said, I reviewed this today, and they could ask me questions about it today. Instead of 3 days to download the video, encode it, upload it, do the description, maybe 2 more days after that, it's on Patreon or Subscribestar. So you're talking about like a week extra on top of the week extra you get for being like a supporter. Just saying, I'm not just saying, I didn't say you need to be there, but just saying you're there. And those people are going to also be making a lot more decisions on this channel. I'm going to be putting up polls. What should I buy? If there's products they can vote for, it'll be like on Patreon or subscribe. So just in the comments, say what products you want me to review. If I can get companies to send them, that's great. If not, that's what that money's for. Buy things on Amazon or direct from competitors. People have always been like, Ascend Acoustics. You got to do Ascend Acoustics. So the first thing I would do is email them and be like, hey, can you send me this? And when they say, fuck off, I'd be like, well, how about this? Buy now. And then, well, they wouldn't have a buy now, I don't think, on Ascend Acoustics. But either way, I would buy them, use them, sell them, take a loss, doesn't matter. You people are paying for it. But, anyway, these things. And don't forget to check out Hi-Fi Guides and the Hi-Fi Guides forum, where there is a section on speakers, and these should be there because we have great mods on Hi-Fi Guides forum, and they see everything that I put out and see everything other people put out and just make official posts for everything. So that's wonderful. So that's it for today. Sound demo in the description. I will have to record it still. I'm not there. But I'll get that done, and then this will be up on Patreon and Subscribestar. And for those people who are watching it, hello. Thank you for supporting me. And for those people seeing this only public, hello. Enjoy. I hope they're still in stock. Please be still in stock. I'm the only person who's reviewing them. They can't go out of stock. I've had too many nightmares about RB42s in stock.